60 Minutes Overtime.
This week on 60 Minutes, we reported on the gardens of Caligula. After 2,000 years buried, they've been excavated and now open to the public in a museum called the Nymphaeum Museum in the bottom of an office building. It's a fascinating site. And Caligula was such a controversial figure by most accounts from that time, and there are very few that have survived. He was incredibly brutal, cruel, not a nice person, and may have been even perhaps mad, some scholars have suggested. He was assassinated after ruling for just about 4 years. After the assassination came an assault on his legacy. Images of Caligula were defaced, heads of statues lopped off or replaced. He was once the most powerful man in the world, and Caligula was airbrushed, or rather chiseled out of history. Are there many things from Caligula's time that have survived?
Not so many, because both his reign empire was very short, less than 4 years, and because most of the images, the public images, were destroyed or ruined.
Dario del Buffalo is an expert on Roman stone art. He lives in a medieval castle that once served as a summer retreat for the Pope. He took an interest in the marble mosaics that adorn 2 luxurious boats that Caligula built on Lake Nemi, 20 miles southeast of Rome. The boats were sunk after Caligula's death, but unearthed from the bottom of the lake by the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini, only to be destroyed in a fire at the end of World War II. In the 1960s, this mosaic from the boat disappeared. Del Buffalo included a photo of it in a book that he published in 2013. And he was signing copies of the book at a store in New York when he overheard the most remarkable conversation.
There was a lady with a young guy with a strange hat that came to the table, and he told her, "What a beautiful book. Oh, Helen, look, that's your mosaic." And she said, "Yeah, that's my mosaic." So I finished the last signature, and I went after them, and I couldn't see her, but I saw the young guy, and I said, "Excuse me, you were talking about the mosaic on my book. Can you tell me, this is the mosaic you're talking about?" "Yes, this is the mosaic that Helen has in her house on Park Avenue." He gave me almost the social security number. He gave me everything.
I mean, the chances of this happening...
1 in 1 million.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and I was screaming at him, "But this mosaic is lost." And he said, "I don't know. The girl, the woman has it since a long time, and she serves the tea and the coffee in her house." And I said,
Wait, she didn't just have the mosaic, she was serving coffee
and
the
tea
mosaic.
on the mosaic.
Helen Fiorati, an art dealer in New York City, says she bought the piece in the 1960s from an Italian noble family. The Italian authorities obviously wanted it back, and Manhattan District Attorney convinced Fiorati that it was in her best interest to give it up. It went on display at a museum next to Lake Nemi earlier this year, once the Italians got the stains out of it. Does this mosaic tell us anything about Caligula?
Yeah, to me, yes, because the materials are materials that were not so much in fashion in that time. Red porphyry was just beginning. Very modern design, very different from the designs that used to be until that time.
It is. There's a psychedelic quality to it.
And you know, in art of ancient times, you need 100 years to change a fashion.
So Caligula wasn't bound by tradition, perhaps?
No, and I think his architects and his designers knew. So he was very ahead in using materials and design.
Dario del Buffalo has made a replica of the coffee table. It looks like an exact copy. In our conversation, he offered to make another replica to return to Helen Fiorati on Park Avenue.
Give her back the mosaic to have the tea and the coffee, and just a copy.
You won't tell her?
No, I'm telling you, and I hope you tell her.
Okay.
You transpond this message, and I really would do a copy for her.
Really?
Exact copy. She could not tell the difference.